Greetings, Darkness Gotham. Yes, I did see your video. I apologize. It took me a few days to get around to doing it, but of course, I'm sure you'll understand it was the holidays and such, and I took a bit of a break from YouTube over the course of Christmas and whatnot. I was just tired and busy and stuff. But, yeah, so I only actually found your video while in the middle of doing a narcissistic YouTube search for my own username to see who was talking about me that week. I know, I'm a raving egomaniac, what can I say? But it's good that I do that periodically because I find a lot of times people will do a video addressing me or asking me something or whatever, but they won't send me a link, so I won't know it exists unless I do that narcissistic search. Narcissistic search, that's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? So you were asking me if I felt the, well, you're sort of asking me my opinions on the Christopher Nolan Batman films. A lot of people have been asking me that as far back as 2008 when I dropped some hints in part 1 of my Real Ghostbusters Complete Series overview that there were certain things about the Nolan-verse, as it's known, Batman films that I wasn't particularly thrilled with. Excuse me. Sorry. Morning coffee. And this is true. There are certain aspects of them that I don't particularly, that don't particularly thrill me. There's other things I think they do really well, but essentially, as far as in-depth comments go, with the new one coming out, essentially what the plan is sometime between now and July, I'm going to rewatch these two, and I'll do my take on both of them. So I know a lot of people have been waiting for my take on The Dark Knight, but I figure I might as well do both of them because I haven't watched them in so long. So, yeah, so I'm going to do a Batman double bill and review those. But in answer to your main question, would I like to see a return to a more comic booky style versus the more sort of, trying to make it all realistic and believable style of the Nolanverse? I would definitely like to see a return to the more comic booky style. I mean, this one here, the original, well, I say the original, but anyway, the 1989 version, say the original of the Dark movie Batmans, the 1989 version, while it may have its flaws, visually, it's an amazing film. I mean, Anton Furst did some fantastic designs for Gotham, and just the directorial style of Tim Burton really gave it this beautiful gothic. It was a gothic Gotham, it just looked fantastic. To the point where they even adopted that kind of look in the comics shortly after the movie came out, and that's how Gotham has looked for a very long time. And I'll tell you this much, I guess that's one of the things that's always bugged me about the Nolanverse ones is Gotham doesn't look anything like anything special. It's just another city. There's really nothing visually exciting about it, and that irritates the shit out of me. But we'll go into more depth about that when I talk about the movies as a whole. So yes, I would definitely like to see a return to the more comic booky style. I don't sort of get this whole obsession with trying to make things more realistic and believable. I mean, the whole Batman concept to begin with is not realistic or believable. Therefore, why would you try to force the movies to be that way? I just don't get that. Well, I guess on the one hand I do, like, let's make it more plausible, but there's aspects of them that just aren't realistic or plausible, yet it's like they can't make up their minds. It's like, do we want to be realistic or do we want to be all over the top and comic booky? So there's certain things that just don't, it's, I don't know. We'll go into more detail about that when I talk about the movies, but because I'm starting to rant about them now and I need to take it down a notch and just save it for when I do the actual reviews. But yeah, I guess to just answer your question generally, I would definitely like to see a return to more of a comic booky style, along the lines of this, visually speaking. I think that's something that's been lost, and this whole sort of trend of trying to make superhero movies more realistic and believable and plausible is silly, quite frankly, and I think it needs to stop. This is why I like the current round of Marvel movies, the Marvel Universe ones, is they're just going for the gusto. It's like, let's just make it like the comics, Let's just make them like the comics, but just in live action, and that's the way it should be, you know. And I hope that when, you know, the Nolanverse saga ends, that whoever picks up the reins next kind of gets Batman back to his roots a little bit more properly. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the Nolan films as films, but in a lot of respects they just don't feel like Batman to me. And I say this as someone who started with the 60s series, watched almost all the cartoons growing up, like from the 70s on up, Super Friends, and then you know, later on discovered the actual comics and really just fell in love with the serious dark comics and such, and who I also love the Tim Burton movies. I even like the first Joel Schumacher movie, not Batman and Robin, but Batman and Forever. I just can't talk today. Batman Forever was, you know, overall I thought a decent film. I mean, I thought it had a lot of fun in it. Jim Carrey ripped up the scenery. The only thing I didn't like about it was the Nicole Kidman love story, which I thought was really forced and shoehorned in and irritating and unnecessary. Why does a Batman movie always need to have a love interest? Like, come on, it's fucking Batman. Just put him out there alone against some supervillain and see what happens. But, where am I going with this? Yeah, return to the comic booky style, please. That's what I would definitely like to see. Enough with this realism bullshit, alright? Let's just get on with it and do a proper Batman movie. Yeah. So that should give you a hint of where my reviews are going to be going. Alrighty. Well, thanks for the question, Darkness Gotham. Sorry I can't really answer it more in depth right now because it kind of, you know, it's I've already got videos planned where I'll be talking about that subject matter quite a bit, but I hope I dropped some tantalizing hints along the way anyway. But yeah, I definitely agree with what you said, namely that I would like to see a bit of a departure. I mean, you can have it realistic in tone without being like, without forcing it to be that way. You know, I mean, you can still be a little bit comic booky, but still still have a serious tone. You know, I mean, there's been plenty of movies that have accomplished that well. You know, like the first two X-Men movies, for example. You know, they did that with a realistic tone, but still had like the crazy superpowers, well, mutant powers and stuff like that. And the current spate of Marvel movie universe movies. I don't know. It seems like the general trend right now seems to be like the Marvel live action movies have overall been better than the DC live action movies. Mind you, Marvel's been cranking out a lot more of them than DC. But then the animated movies, the direct-to-video animated movies, it's the opposite. DC's been cranking out more than Marvel, and DC's movies have overall been better than the Marvel ones. So I guess that's balanced in a way. You know, there's balance in the force. Alrighty. Well, thanks very much for the question. Yeah. I can't really say much more because it's going to spoil my reviews. Alrighty. Thanks very much for the question, Darkness Gotham. If you guys want to check out Darkness Gotham's original video, I will, of course, put the link in the description. Yeah, so that's it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara. And check out my main YouTube page if you haven't already. I keep forgetting that I'm not editing these. Just get the pointer over the button. Bye!